Hi, welcome back. This time we're going to look at a frustum of a cone. And frustum is when we cut the top off. So now all the same concepts apply with a frustum as would apply to just our right cone that we've already done. We're just going to add one more slant height in. And that one we call the small slant height. So in our first one we had just one arc. We gave ourselves a starting point and end point. We made the distance of that arc equal to the base of the circumference. We're going to do all those same things, exactly the same, but we're going to swing one more arc, which is going to be the cutout for the top. So let me draw my elevation view. And again, I'm going to start with my baseline and vertical. With a frustum, we want to first draw just the elevation of the frustum. So again, remember one of our rules for using radial line on a cone like this is to have a radius point that is within reasonable distance. If it's too far away, it's not going to work very well. It still can work. Physically, we can make it work. But it's not practical. So now that I got my height, which will be given for your frustum, and I got my base diameter, and I got my top diameter. I'm now just going to run my straight edge tangent to these 2 points, lay it on those 2 points, and then see where it crosses the vertical up here. So I lay that on, lay that there and here. Yeah, and cross. Now, if I've done everything correctly, if I do it on the same thing on the other side, those 2 points should hit at exactly the same point on the vertical. It looks like I got it. It's nicely on center here. You don't want to see that off center. Because you may not be given the full apex when you're given a frustum. You might only be given the height here. So if you're given this one, and you're given this one and given this one, that's the elevation you have to draw, and then line this one just by running the lines up. Okay? So let's take those out. I'm going to put a profile on. So I'll profile the base. I could profile the top, but I like to work off the base. The important part is if you're going to profile the top or the small end, that's fine, but everything you do from there needs to correspond to the small end. And what I mean by that is you got to work off the small arc. So our first one, we swung the large slant height, we stepped off that on the 1/12 from the large end, and we have to keep that. If we're using the large step off, it goes on the large arc. If I profiled the top of the small end, I would need to step it off on the small arc. The small step off can't go to the big arc. Okay, so let's swing this. Pick up the large slant height. Find a radius point. Again, I don't know how far it's going to go yet. Pick up a step off. Just short. That's okay. Pick up the arc again and just finish that through. Okay. So that gives me my cone now. So again, back to the radius point. All the same steps as before. Back to my starting point. Okay, so it's a very similar pattern to our first cone we did. And the big difference on this one, like I had mentioned earlier, we have a small slant height, we refer to it as. I'm going to pick up that small slant height. And I'll swing it. And there we go, there's our pattern there.